The quiet rebellion begins. There's a quiet kind of restlessness that sits behind modern life. You follow the checklist, career, relationships, goals, and yet something inside whispers, this can't be all there is. It's not despair, it's awareness trying to awake you. When the noise fades, you notice that you've been drifting through days rather than directing them. The rebellion begins in that realization. It's not loud or angry, it's the decision to stop living on autopilot. Thoreau once called it a life of quiet desperation, and his escape to the woods wasn't about nature, it was about clarity. We don't need cabins or solitude in forests to live deliberately. We need intention in ordinary life. Every task becomes a reflection of choice, how you spend your time, what you give attention to, and which inner voice you follow. The quiet rebellion is the choice to live awake in a sleeping world.
The existential shift. Jean-Paul Sartre's idea that existence precedes essence means you aren't born with a script. You arrive as a possibility and write yourself through action. Freedom can feel frightening because it removes excuses. You are both the sculptor and the clay. But it's also liberation. Each moment is a blank canvas, waiting for your decision to give it color. The fear you feel when facing that freedom isn't weakness. It's creative energy asking for direction. To live existentially is to step away from imitation. You replace "I must" with "I choose." That small linguistic shift changes everything. When you act from conscious choice rather than social expectation, strength naturally forms. You become less reactive, more deliberate, less dependent on approval. Freedom becomes responsibility. Responsibility becomes power. This is where unshakable confidence is born, from living a life authored by you.
The weight and gift of responsibility. With freedom comes ownership. You cannot control events, but you always control your interpretation and response. Radical responsibility doesn't mean blame, it means agency. The moment you take ownership of a problem, you gain the power to influence its outcome. The victim mindset says, "Life happens to me." The creator mindset asks, "What can I do now?" That question is the turning point between drifting and directing. Owning your choices is uncomfortable because it forces you to see where you've avoided growth. But discomfort is a signal of strength developing. Each act of responsibility rebuilds trust with yourself. It teaches your mind that you are capable of steering through uncertainty. The storms of circumstance don't disappear, they simply stop defining you. Ownership is the difference between surviving life and shaping it. The 5 pillars of self-creation. Simplicity is the first pillar. We live in a storm of distractions, each one eroding focus. The path to strength begins by clearing space, mental, digital, emotional. Ask, does this serve the life I'm building? Removing what doesn't serve isn't loss, it's liberation. A quiet room breeds sharper thought. A focused schedule breeds creative control. Simplicity is how you reclaim attention and direct it toward meaning. Solitude forms the second pillar. Loneliness is emptiness. Solitude is presence. It's where external noise falls away long enough for your true priorities to surface. Reflection is the ancient tool of every philosopher, because clarity never shouts, it whispers in silence. A short walk, a quiet journal, an evening without a screen, all become workshops of the mind. The more time you spend with your thoughts, the more they align with who you actually are. The engine of discipline. Freedom without structure collapses into chaos. Discipline is self-chosen structure. It transforms abstract goals into tangible progress. True discipline isn't punishment, it's self-respect in motion. Every time you act in alignment with your values, you strengthen the muscle of trust between intention and action. Start small, a morning routine, a fitness commitment, a reading habit. Consistency compounds into character. Discipline teaches emotional stability. When your actions are guided by principle rather than impulse, you stop negotiating with excuses. This quiet consistency is more powerful than bursts of motivation. You don't wait to feel ready. You act and let readiness catch up. Each disciplined act says, "I'm the kind of person who follows through." That identity becomes the source of peace in chaos and resilience in uncertainty. Purpose as practice. Purpose is not a hidden treasure, it's a practice of direction. You build it one decision at a time by committing to what matters. Ask, what small action today aligns with my values? That question transforms meaning from a mystery into a daily craft. A life of purpose isn't grand, it's consistent. It's the accumulation of thousands of aligned steps. Viktor Frankl taught that meaning comes from responsibility, to a task, to love, or to suffering. When you dedicate your effort to something beyond comfort, hardship transforms into significance. Your work, your family, your creative expression, each becomes an existential project. Purpose isn't found in thought, but revealed in doing. When you move with intention, anxiety fades, replaced by quiet certainty. The fortress of peace. The final pillar is peace. Modern life floods us with information until we mistake noise for progress. Guarding your peace is radical responsibility in the digital age. Curate what enters your mind. Protect silence like a sacred space. Peace is not the absence of movement, it's mastery over attention. When you decide what deserves focus, you reclaim freedom. Peace gives perspective. It reminds you that most battles are temporary and most worries self-created. By slowing down, you return to presence, the only place real life exists. Build small rituals that anchor you. Morning stillness, evening gratitude, a walk without devices. Protecting peace is not withdrawal, it's preparation. It ensures that when challenges arise, your strength is centered, not scattered. Transformation through reflection. Look back at the path you've walked. The rebellion wasn't about overthrowing the world, it was about reclaiming yourself. You began restless and uncertain, but awareness became your compass. Each principle, freedom, responsibility, simplicity, solitude, discipline, purpose, peace, formed a step toward self-authorship. Strength, you now see, isn't control over life, it's harmony with it. Reflection is how you integrate growth. Ask, where did I act with integrity today? Where did I drift? This isn't judgment, it's calibration. Awareness turns mistakes into teachers. Progress hides in reflection more than in ambition. Make quiet review a daily habit, and you'll never lose your way for long. The modern application. Apply the rebellion to your world. When work feels overwhelming, pause, and remember, you choose how to show up. When relationships strain, choose understanding over reaction. When progress stalls, return to simplicity. Philosophy is not abstract. It's a lens through which you navigate daily chaos. The quiet rebellion succeeds when reflection becomes reflex. The practical path is simple. Wake up earlier than comfort demands. Decide your priorities before distractions decide them for you. act with integrity even when unseen. These acts may seem small, but together they form the architecture of strength. The more deliberately you live, the quieter your anxiety becomes. It no longer signals confusion, but creative energy. Becoming the author. You began with unease and discovered freedom. Now you stand as author of your existence. The abyss no longer terrifies, it inspires. Every challenge is raw material for growth. Every decision is a brushstroke on your evolving portrait. The goal is not perfection, but authenticity. Real power lives in the awareness that meaning is something you build, not something you wait to find. If this message resonates, share it with someone who needs direction and subscribe to walk this path with us. Your quiet rebellion continues with every conscious act. Pause today and ask, what single choice reflects who I want to become? That answer is your compass. The abyss ahead is only empty until you fill it with meaning. Thank you for being part of this community of self-authors. Stay grounded, stay present, and keep building your quiet rebellion. Join the Limitless Mindset community, and let's keep growing together.